shut it up under the school.
This is the time we come together to keep our country safe forever. So open up your hearts, let a true love come right in. Cause love is all we need to make us stand. Let's understand one another and learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have a peace of mind. Let's celebrate and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast of Action Require Media. Here we are dedicated to discussing hard truths and finding remedies for our problems. On this platform, we will stay engaged on all happenings in Mama Liberia, not limited to politics, religion, development, economy, security, crimes, war on illegal drugs, employment, youth, growth, and food production. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching and listening to Action Require Media. Here we educate, entertain, and empower. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hear from you. Can you please like and share our show? You can also find us on YouTube. Just type in Action Require Media. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the show as we're about to discuss serious issue pertaining to Mama Liberia. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome. Please like and share our show. If you would like to be a part of this show, please reach out to one of us and we will get you on. Again, thank you for watching and listening to Action Require Media. Today, we have important topics that we're going to be discussing. And again, I would like to have my panelists introduce themselves, and then we're going to go through our topics, and then we're going to have our opening prayer. And again, thanks for watching. At this time, I will turn it over to my brother, Edwin Saipor, to introduce himself. Brother Edwin.
Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Edwin Saipor Jr. I'm a writer. I'm also oversees the Ministry of Commerce on the board. Subscribe, like, interact with the show. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Ajiba B. Waller to introduce himself. Dr. Waller.
Did I hear Edwin say he's the word for common sense?
Yes.
I'm an overseer of
The
commerce.
overseer.
What's your for common sense? Okay. Well, happy Sunday, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here always, and I hope you had a wonderful Sunday today. We are looking forward to having a fruitful discussion about our country. And if you can, please share our show. Send us your comment if you can, and we will definitely respond back to you if it's a question or something that we need to clarify. So thank you for following. Uh, Happy to be here. See you. Thank you.
Dr. Waller, is it possible? Can you turn your volume up a little bit? I think you're sounding too low.
Okay, for me.
Let me see. I'm trying to adjust this sound here.
Yeah, he sounds good to me. I mean, I can
It's
hear him.
it's okay now.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Okay.
That water was sounding better. I don't know about your stuff.
Yeah, but if you go and watch it, it
It's
will
you like
sound
the big
low.
force on me, so yeah, that's okay.
All right. So at this time, I will turn it over to Sergeant Montgomery to introduce himself. Uh,
Well, am I audible enough, guys?
yes, you are.
Let me say good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're watching us from. The name is Leo. It's good to be on here. Let me say greetings to my fellow panelists and those of you who will be watching via social media line. It's good to be here to speak on Liberian people issue, our issue. I look forward to a very good show, engagement with my fellow panelists. Thank you all for the opportunity.
All right, thank you. So at this time we have a very important guest that joined us today, and we're going to be hearing from him today. We have one of our brothers in the Raleigh Durham area, our brother Julius, will be introducing himself, and then you pretty much going to hear from him throughout the show. Brother Julius, welcome to Action Require Media. We are pleased to have you, and we appreciate your time. You are going to spend with us tonight. Again, can you introduce yourself for us, please?
Thank you. Great to be on the panel with the rest of us. Stated earlier, Lo-Fi Julius, commonly known on the social media, but government is Julius Brown. So I'm just here to be a part of a conversation that I believe is in the best interest of Liberia. Isn't it like I don't know what it is. The funny part about it that your CEO and myself have the same last name,
Yes.
government wise. If you didn't know that, and it's spelled the same way. So I got to
Yes.
check with you, bro. I got to check with you to figure out what's
I
going on.
I feel the
But
same way too,
anyway,
man. I like,
right.
man.
But anyway, it's great to be on here with you all today to discuss Liberia. Now that the game is over, I can kind of focus, look in the camera, and be a part of the conversation. I think it would be a fruitful conversation, especially have to do with Liberia. But thank you for the invitation, and thanks for allowing me to be a part of the conversation today.
All right, thank you. And also we have somebody joining us from afar and near, brother Amos Dogba. So, brother Amos, if you have the time, can you please introduce yourself for us? Oh, your audio is bad.
Yeah, look,
Yeah, that's a terrible audio.
Okay, what I would do, I would text him. He can just call in, and then he will have. All right. Yeah, Amos, can you call the line and then you introduce yourself? Call my phone. All right.
you again. When I was talking, you again feedback.
Oh, oh. I don't know where that noise coming from. Somebody's.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Ooh.
I think I had Duke in North Carolina. It's not a home of Duke.
Hold on. I
It,
just took
that,
it off. It can be. All right. Let's start one at a time. Edwin, can you mute yourself for a minute?
I'm muted.
Okay, that's not Edwin. Dr. Waller, can you mute yourself for a minute? Dr. Waller, can you hear us?
I've been muted ever since I've been muted.
Ooh.
I
All
am
right.
I am muted, and I just unmute myself. But I mute myself again.
All right, guys. Let me see. Can you guys hear me now? Oh, Brother Kurma, can you mute yourself? Jesse. I think it's coming from Brother Jesse phone.
I think yeah. When using your phone, when you get a text or like a call, it can interfere with it. So
All right.
you
Sergeant
just turn on
Montgomery,
the
can you
do
hear
not.
us?
Yeah, it's coming from him.
Sergeant Montgomery. Ooh. Yeah, it's coming from Sergeant Montgomery. All right, but Sergeant Montgomery, would you like to call in?
Now, just having just get off and come on back on. Get off,
Montgomery, can you
Leo.
can you come back in?
Just get off and come on back on. Let's see what happens. Get off. Let's see
Yeah,
what.
Montgomery, get and come
There
back
you
in.
go.
Okay, there you go.
Do you still hear it?
No,
I
we can
don't.
hear it. I think it was from him.
Yeah, that's
All right,
so. Yeah, that's from him.
Dr. Wallace, can you please give us opening prayer?
Sure, let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you. We give thee praise and glory. We bless you, Lord. Thank you for another opportunity for us to be here to discuss issues about our country, the country you have given us. I want to thank you, Lord, for Liberia, Liberians. I want to thank you for our government, our president. I want to thank you, O Lord, for all of our leaders. We pray that you will give them the wisdom, that they will lead this country the way you want it to go. We thank you, Lord, that you will continue to bless Liberia as a country, continue to protect this country, O Lord. We all hold a responsibility to make the country a better place for ourselves and for posterity. So we thank you, Lord. We bless you that you will guide our conversation. May our thoughts and our words and minister life to those that will hear it. Let it provide encouragement for all Liberians that will come across our video. I want to thank you. We bless you now. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Water. Uh, Brother Amos, can you hear us? Amos,
Hear me now?
ca- yeah, we can hear you. Can you introduce yourself? And then we're going to get started with the show.
All right. Miss Amos, aka American Boy. I'm happy to be on the show today to share my thought and little experience that I have, and I'm glad to be part of the show, and I'm happy to, be here today to be able to work along with Dr. Wallow, Mr. Montgomery, and all the other good guys that I don't know yet. So I look forward to giving my one or two input on this show.
All right, thank you. All right, so, gentlemen, I'm going to go through the topics, and we're going to go through our discussions. And again, welcome again for being here. And I think victory is to Canada. I'm pretty much proud of Canada that South Africa is going home today. Again, it was a beautiful game, but I think Canada is going to walk away with a victory. Again, let me go over the topics for discussion, but it's not going to be limited to. All right. So, topics for discussion: what are the causes of economic hardship in Liberia, and some solutions? Um, Increase in tariff at the National Port Authority of Liberia. Liberians want to know why the fees at MPA so high. Is it good for business or not? All right. So, gentlemen, these are a few topics we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about economic hardship in Liberia, and we're going to be talking about the high fees at the National Port of Authority of Liberia. Is it good for business or not? Also, before we go into our discussions, I know we have been monitoring the CDC convention in Zwedju that took place yesterday, and we were just going around, and Alexander Comey was a keynote speaker at that program, and Mr. Ability was also at the program. You have other opposition parties leaders at that program yesterday in Zwedru. Well, we're going to be getting our opinions and views from others. What do you think? What do you make of the um, the convention yesterday in Zwedru? Was it a good thing for Alexander Cummings to be a keynote speaker at the opposition party? How do you feel? What do you think? What is what is the game here for the election coming up 2029? All right. So before we do this, I will go around. Let me get a Dr. Water first. I think Sergeant Montgomery is on. Let's check. Montgomery.
Yeah, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
All right.
All right. You want to introduce yourself first, then we just go through our discussion.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, is
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Were you hearing me?
No.
About changing the Sweet Labrador intro song? That's where all your technical problems coming from.
I don't think so. Uh, Let me see. Brother Julius, can you rotate your camera?
Is it frozen?
Yeah, I think if one person. Tata Walla.
I can hear you.
Okay. Montgomery, can you hear us clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay. I try to increase your volume a little bit.
These
Yeah,
are
I just switched location, so I should be good now.
All right.
yeah, these are some exciting topic we need to get to. Let's get the ball rolling, bro.
Yeah, but look at Julia's video is protected. All right. So gentlemen, let's go through some discussions real quick about you know. So I was asking Dr. Wallo. So Dr. Wallo, I know you kind of pay attention to what was happening yesterday in Zweju at the CDC's convention. Um, can you tell us what's your take from that convention?
Well, thank you, CEO. Yeah, so I understand that the gathering in Zwedro, Grangida County yesterday was a convention, the celebration of 22 years of existence of the CDC. As a political party, celebrating 22 years is I think it's a huge achievement. The CDC, I think, started in 2004, and within that 22 years, they were able to actually successfully uh, win an election, produce a president for 6 years within that 22 years. So that's a remarkable achievement. There are a lot of political parties in Liberia that have not been able to do that, for a very long time. So I think what they celebrated yesterday, it was worth celebrating. When you are celebrating something like that, I think it's very common for you to invite other people to come and celebrate with you. So I thought that the invitation to allow other political parties, political leaders, uh, you know, leaders from different sector of our society to converge in Grand Juda County yesterday to celebrate with them. I think it was a remarkable moment, and I want to congratulate the CDC for such an achievement. That's what we talk about, right? That when you build an institution, it lags beyond an individual. I think that's what the CDC is achieving. So it's a great time. It was a great time actually.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, I don't know if Brother Edwin, you followed the CDC convention yesterday, but I know you and I we had a little bit of discussion about the event and the arrival of special guests. Um, do you have anything to say about the optics?
Well, like what Dr. Waller said, CDC, they have achieved. You're looking at it strategically, on paper, yes, they obtain everything, whatever objective, and they reach the higher position of, any political party could dream of in the country. But these are personal achievements. So the achievement does not affect the people that follow them. They haven't achieved anything um, for their own people. They never made any major changes. Now, as far as Comey is going over there, because I listened to his little bit of speech when they were asking him, and he said he was trying to reach the sedition. I don't know how you go into a ceremonial place. for people and then try to spread your message. It doesn't even sound, if you're a smart person, it doesn't sound smart that I'm gonna enter the CDC house and then tell them about becoming an ANC. It does not make sense. So I'm of the view that some type of deal has been cut, and Cummings is trying to ride a wave. Yeah, maybe I might be looking into it too much. Maybe just an invite, and he just want to honor the invite and stuff. But I'm just thinking they're trying to form a coalition, the CDC, um, the other guy that is doing things by himself already. They're trying to find a winning formula, which I think is smart politically. But I'm not a medical person, so but I can prescribe you stuff apropos to any medical advice. I wouldn't put my trust in any politician in Liberia, even come 2029, even if it's a new voice or whatever. I think you're setting yourself up for a heart attack. Things can only be changed in our country from the outside. We need to stop putting our trust in the politics, and it's always the same old hands. So we need to stop that. Stop putting a new wine in old bottle. Thank you guys.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And so I will turn it over to Julius, and then before I go to Julius, let me get to Amos first. So Julius, we're talking about Alexander Cummings honoring the CDC res- to having as a guest speaker, keynote speaker at the convention yesterday in Georgia. So we just want to know what does it take out what does it take away from that convention, and if anything that is unifying the country, or is anything that we can look forward to as in 2029. But before I get to you, let me get to Brother Amos. How do you see it though? Do you look at it as a positive way of seeing political leaders in Liberia being united under one roof at the same time for a couple of hours, trying to agree and disagree with the present government? Is that anything positive to you, or what do you take from it?
Oh, first of all, I want to say thank you for the. But I think Dr. Wado nailed the head on there, and he spoke very clearly about achievement. CDC trying to achieve on a specific goal, and in a sense that uniting every leaders together on a one umbrella to achieve a goal is not a Liberia or it's not CDC thing to do right now. Right now, it's about celebration. It's about bringing the party together, and it's also about letting people know that CDC still exists, regardless of 22 years of leadership, 22 years of being existing, and they're trying to call people together to tell the Liberian people that CDC is still in existence, no matter what happened. Coming 2029, there will be great leaders, and I don't think it's a bad thing for
Okay.
Alexander Comey and other great leaders to come and contribute or give their input or speak on behalf of CDC. I don't think it's a bad thing. But the
Okay.
thing is, there's a catch to this because coming 2029, maybe he may be able to join CDC like the other guys said. He may be able to bring people together to have a new CDC government governing, so that at least the CDC government can understand that we're taking Alexander coming from a different party and we're bringing the CDC. His voice is very important. Everybody knows Alexander coming to be a very important figure in Liberia, but we can't predict that right now because it's still early yet. Because
Okay.
CDC now on a different level, and we have few more years to come. So, however, I don't think it's a bad thing for them to be on a one umbrella.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will turn it over to Lofa Julius. So Lofa Julius, I mean, I know you've been following ANC for a while, and I did, recognize, and I did tell you one time that you are a good messenger than the standard bearer himself and most people in the party. So, what is your take about the whole event in Zwerju, and was it a good call for the ANC standard bearer ahead to grace that occasion as a keynote speaker? Lofa, I think you pause. Just, I think you pause. Can you unmute yourself? We can hear you, Lofa. Yeah, we can hear you, Lofa. No, we can't hear you. Yeah. Can you guys? I can't hear Lofa. Can you guys hear him?
Nope, it's something going on with microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, Lofa, we can't hear you.
Okay, we can move on. Let look at work on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Lofa, can you be working on it when you get on? Just keep talking. We hear when we hear you. We'll let you know. But we still can't hear you.
Can you guys
Almost.
hear me
Yes, yes. But
better?
you break it in. We're hearing you just now, but you are breaking in.
Uh, can you
Yeah,
guys
there
hear
you
me?
go.
Is this
Yeah, yeah,
any better?
yeah. We can hear you. We will hear you, Lofa. Okay. So gentlemen, I think Lofa is working on his sound. But again, when he gets back on, we'll give him an opportunity to speak to that. Okay, I think he's back. Can you hear us, Lofa?
Let's try this again. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
For some reason, I can't hear you guys either.
You cannot hear us? We hearing you.
Because I told her to use my laptop because I kept getting calls. I had abandoned a couple of meetings that I should have been in because I wanted to be a part of this conversation.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But
Can you hear
for
us?
some reason, it's just not working out.
You can hear us still? Uh, we hearing you though.
Let's see here. Let's see here.
Yeah, we hearing you, but I don't know why
All
you
right.
wait.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I can hear you guys. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
All right. All right. Now I can hear you guys. Just needed to kind of tweak things off for the audio. But anyway, let me first of all start off with an apology for the initial disconnect, and then the current technical issue, because I was well informed or aware of this program today. I should have been prepared. Unfortunately, the soccer game took me away. But let me say this, right. And that's why I think I owe you all an apology. But let me say this: I am a parent. I chastise my child or my kids when there is need to. That does not negate the fact that I love them. Mr. Alexander Cummings' presence at the CDC anniversary was again an ideal situation to send that symbol out there, that signal to the rest of Liberia that regardless of what we do and how we do it, Liberia first. I am an individual, only an individual. I put Liberia above me. Nevertheless, when I notice things are going wrong, yes, I will speak out and I will speak up about it. You know why? It's because I love Liberia. Mr. Alexander Cumming did not in any point at any point in time refuse to acknowledge the failure on the part of CDC. Neither did he refuse to also provide suggestions, recommendations were made. That is how one determine who a leader is. Had it been anyone else, They would have said, okay, like the propaganda that is being spewed on the social media as far as Mr. Alexander Cummings. Yeah, yesterday you said seditions were this, today you're with them. Yes, that's why parents chastise their children to make them better people and still remain in that confine of being a parent, that room and understanding. And that's exactly what Mr. Alexander Cummings exhibited yesterday. One thing that you have noticed, the narrative has changed drastically. The governing body is jittery. They're concerned. Hold up. What become of us when this union holds? You know what? You now have a formidable force. You have an Alexander Cummings who goes in every direction, regardless of who you are, where you are, to criticize you when it is in the best interest of Liberia. And that is part of the reason why I think yesterday gathering in Zwedru, a rural part of Liberia, was very important to our political establishment. The domain was meant to bring some attention to that part of the country, and CDC did a great job by inviting those political leaders who went and were well represented. The message that most of the folks in government don't want you to get is unity. United we stand, divided we fall. That is what they don't want you to get. But you know what? Mr. Alexander Cummings highlighted that point. Musa Hassan Bedidi highlighted that point. Simon Freeman highlighted that point. I don't care how bad the child is. Guess what? That child can never be thrown in the evil forest and should never be thrown. And that is what Mr. Alexander Cummings simply showed yesterday, and he's been exhibiting over the past few years. And he have consistently said, look, you know what? This is not about me. I am an individual. It's about Liberia, Liberia first. And I think his presence in Zwedru yesterday is literally that hallmark. Yes, we are Liberian first and then individual later. So going forward, the only goal here is to get rid of a corrupt group of people who have literally formed themselves as a cartel to take away the sovereignty of our nation and just give us nothing more than that. But I thought it was a great, great, great idea to be presented, and he well represented his people. Knew that he had chastised CDC yesterday. He was willing to sit in front of them and say, I love you still, but if you do it again, you'll be chastised. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Um, so
Can I
before,
add a little? Can I add a little thing to what Julius just said? If you can, CEO.
go ahead, Other Water.
Thank you, thank you. Look, Julius couldn't have you know emphasized this point more. I think well-meaning Liberians should celebrate what happened in Sweden yesterday,
Hmm.
because the coming together of our political leaders, a signal that Liberia's democracy is getting mature. Now, don't forget, CDC is a former ruling party. Okay, they are not just in an opposition; they are the immediate former ruling party. Alexander Cummings and other political leaders being at their celebration yesterday is to send out the signal that politics does not have to be a bloodbath. You
Hmm.
can get along for the common good of Liberia. So them being at that program yesterday does not in no way indicate that we celebrate the failures of CDC or we condone the failure of CDC. But what that signal is that we are Liberians first, and we have to be united for us to move this country forward. And if anybody criticizes that, then you are not in the interest of Liberia, because you have to look beyond the politics. You have to look at the optics that our leaders are coming together And that is how Liberians should behave. So that is a clear example from our political leaders to the country in general. And we should celebrate something like that.
All right, thank you. Um, so before we go into the other discussions, I want to say something. Was Samuel Twe at that program yesterday?
Hmm.
Okay. Did you, I think there was a comment he made about the opposition after they have left office that they will be prosecuted and put into jail and taken to Zweju and work on the Liberian government farms.
That
Did you
was
guys hear
not
that?
Samet. That was not
Who
Sametor's
was that?
statement. That was a statement from the Attorney General in what's the guy's name? But Sametor never made such
Okay.
statement
All right, my bad.
because
My bad.
he was not capacitated to make such statement. He was a
Got you.
finance minister. He couldn't have
Got you.
made such
Got you.
statement.
My bad. I think it was a
Yeah.
mistake when I was looking at it. I apologize for that. I take that back.
Mhm.
But I personally think that particular comment kind of like it kind of cut away from the convention. Um, and again, like Dr. Water said and Brother
Well,
Junior said,
let me.
it was
I'm sorry. Not to interrupt you though, but let me just get.
okay.
You said that statement was made yesterday, or it was during the previous election. Let me just understand before I
Well, hold on, hold
speak.
on, hold on,
Out of Yeah, let me just
hold on.
get a better understanding of it
I can't exactly say when was it because it was.
when it was
I saw it on
made.
Facebook yesterday. So
Oh,
you know how sometimes when people post stuff, it can be a year, and so I didn't really dig
yeah.
into it. So I was
Okay.
assuming that it was the event. That person was going to. That's what.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No.
you're right. I apologize. But I take that back. But again, let's go into discussion here. I know Brother Edwin have already spoke his mind about the incident, about the occasion. I personally think what Alexander Cumming did was playing a big brother role here. Is nothing about being jealous or envy somebody. Okay, he's showing that he can lead. It doesn't matter if you lose. If I lose a game, why not shake the winner hand? I will shake your hands. Okay, that doesn't make us enemy. Okay, that even better off the sportsmanship. So again, I think what he did was good, was very eloquent on his side, and I like the way he spoke at the event. Even though people who have want him to be the president, but I think in this light, a lot of people have seen the way he presented himself and the way he came in to unite all Liberian political leaders. But again, I think it was a good thing, and I think like Dr. Water said, the Democratic form of government is working on the other hand. But again, we'll see what happens in 2029. So
And CEO, just to say that Alexander Cumming has a history of that, right? He was part of the CPP. And when the CPP broke away,
Yep.
he fought hard to keep that collaboration together because he wanted to send the signal that we needed to unite as Liberians for us to move Liberia forward. So he has a history of that. Okay, so let us give him that. Okay, so he was not there for the politics, he was there for the unity of the opposition, most especially the country at large.
okay, thank you, Dr. Water.
All right, guys.
So
I need to record this real quick. We can make more out of a hill. This was a unity thing. It's just that it's a unity thing. But I have to break it on here, and you guys record it that a deal has been cut between three people that trying to form a coalition. That's what it's on
so
record,
so
and
so
you
so
guys
so what you think Alexander Cummings is going to go on the ticket as?
all with all the eloquence and everything. He draw the curtain back and pull it back. This is a strategic movement. This is strategies. People, politicians, business people, they don't meet for no reason. They're not regular people. No, you're not going to visit your friend house or go grace his ceremony. They're going to meet for a reason. So you guys, when you guys are recording, that's all I'm going to say. Just record it. It's on record.
No, but
We-
the optic of it is good. Okay, they're saying that the leaders of Liberia political parties are united. I think the optic is good, but again, something could be hidden in there. We don't know, like you just said. So, gentlemen, let's go deeper into our discussion. Now, the topic for discussion, we want to be talking about and recognizing some issues in Liberia, and more especially, why do Liberia face economic hardship when we do have abundance of natural resources that the country can live off for the rest of their life? Why there is economic hardship in a country with less than 6 million plus people with all that natural resources. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into this, and I would like for everybody to chime in, even though I posted some um, articles in the group chat. So let's just brainstorm here. Uh, Even though at the funding period of Liberia, when the free slaves from the Liberia and settled and established the government, a democratic government in Liberia, they introduced a system where they can manage themselves, they can export and then import. Based on that, they were able to create revenues and other institutions that would be deemed necessary to provide the necessary development and advancement of Liberian people. Now, over the years, since 1847, we have not seen any major development yet taking place in that country. Now, with a population about almost 6 million plus people, the economic hardship is now severe. Now, some may say the Civil War took a lot away from Liberia, and things were halted, especially in the economic system of Liberia halted, were affected greatly and deeply, where we spend more time killing each other than developing the nation. Now, let's let's go back here, and the question again I'm going to ask: for how long can we stay claiming that the war has done a major harm to Liberia economy, not knowing fully, but we have been exporting our natural resources, but yet and still we can see development in the country. Now, before I go through the articles, I want to hear from you guys briefly. Why do you think we have economic hardship in the country? Just a brainstorm. Why do we have economic hardship in the country? Let's exclude the Liberian Civil War. It has been years, it's been decades after the Liberian Civil War. Now, so why are we still saying hardship in Liberia, economic hardship? Dr. Waller.
Thank you, CEO. My simple answer would be because we have not developed, a 21st century version of our economy. Look, what we have currently in Liberia are things that we have tried in the past. The world has changed. Okay, the world have changed a lot, but it seems like our leaders we are not changing with the changing trends. We continue to repeat what we have been doing for centuries. It may have worked in the past, but we are now living in the technology world. Now look at Liberia. We have not we have not even taken advantage of technology in our country. Okay, resources, natural resources in a country does not develop a country. If it was so, Africa would have been the most developed continent on the planet. Leadership does, national government does. If you don't have the policy for you to formulate and implement uh, development in your country, it's not going to happen. So we need the kind of leadership that will be able to develop a version of a 21st century version of our economy. And that's why for me, I support Alexander Cummings because at least he has been the only one that have consistently talked about how we can develop the Liberian economy in a way that it can provide jobs and absorb a lot of the young people that we have in the country. We have the talent. We have the commitment from the young people. We have a very young society. We can take advantage of that, and Liberia can be a paradise in Africa. but we need a leadership. We don't have the leadership currently. And all of look, the former finance minister said it with the CDC government that one of their biggest failure was the failure to provide jobs. The Bwaka administration is still struggling with that. All we hear from this administration is we are developing roads, we are building roads, we are building roads. Well, road development is good, but how about the economy? Every government that comes, they want to build roads, right? But how about developing other sector of our economy? We have not been able to do that, and until we can do that, an economy that will be able to provide a vibrant private sector that will provide jobs for Liberians, we will continue to struggle. Okay, so
Okay.
that would be my initial response to that question.
Okay. So before I go to Edwin, and I know I will come to Julius and Brother Amos here, I just want to give some statistics out here real quick. According to statbase.org, the total workforce in Liberia is 2.6 million people that are working in the country. When you take off 5.6, 6 million plus people, and only 2.6 million people are working, and mostly that job are government official job. Now, also based on that is 12.3 people per 1,000 people that are employed in the country. So you can't. We have some serious issue in our country, but I will let Edwin respond, and then Brother Amos, and then I will come to my brother Julius. Brother Edwin.
Yeah, Brown, that number that you just spit out, you're trying to imply that half of the population or more than half of the population, it doesn't make sense. America population is over 300 million, only 140 million people working. Why is that Liberian population, they got over half of the population working? Does that make sense to you? It doesn't. I don't know, just be making up number from thin air.
No, I don't think it's
Any
statistics,
cost,
bro.
yeah, they at any cost is probably like maybe 100,000 or 80,000 people in all center around government. It's not private sector. But on the economic issues, when you look at the number two pencil, right? The number two pencil is a symbol of economics. When you look at, you just start with the eraser. That eraser is made of rubber. We got rubber right there. The wood on the number two pencils is from trees. Now you got to make metal for the chainsaws to cut down the tree. These are a chain of jobs, like real jobs that you can create for a number two pencil. The lead that is in the pencil that you used to write, or you call it graphite. We got graphite in northern Liberia, in Niba County. When you're looking at that, the government should only exist, and only should exist for national defense, legal issue, cutting contract. Everything else should be centered around private sector, division of labor, education, public education, infrastructure. That's how you create jobs. You cannot create any economy if you don't educate the public, because you need smart people to work. And then also, when you educate people, smart people, they have different interests. Carpenter things can pop out of their head, they start making stuff. Because of that interest, they can sell that to people. We abandon education. We abandon infrastructure. We abandon division of labor, and we are complaining about economic. We're not even trying to do anything towards that or even fix the problem. The very first thing right now, as like Dr. Wall is saying, we're in the 21st century, that we should copy 21st century idea. Okay, fine. But the very first thing you need in our country right now, that you really need, is a massive ramification on education. It introduce a 3 day school schedule. Older people learn how to do stuff. Do that for 6 months to 2 years, and you start seeing changes. Once you educate people, their inner trade and ideas start coming up. You cannot be the one person to solve people's problem already, always. Government, matter of fact, they don't even know how to do that. All what government don't even know. They just know how to take more taxes. That private sector can make the country go.
Okay, so Edwin, before I get my brother Amos on, I would say this. I think government play a major role in employment, and the fact that is, they have to give some incentives to They have to create avenue for private sectors. Okay, they have to have line of credit. They have to have credit, available credit to the citizens where they can go and apply for credit, make credit available. Okay, make the funds available for people to go and take funds, loans, so that they can be able to repay at in certain point of time. So you invest it in the den, but everything is controlled by the government. So the government is not going to government is not going to be the one say I'm creating 6 million jobs today. Okay, you can create a government jobs, but equally so too they can put more money into banks where they can loan money out to people where in the private sector can come in, people can come in, take loans and open the businesses. But we don't have that luxury in Liberia. And before I get the brother Amos, now according to the UNDP 2024 report, Liberia 55.6% of the population live in multidimensional poverty. Okay, in 2024. So 55% of the population live in extreme poverty. So again, uh, let's look at where we're coming from. But the question was, what do you think? What are the causes of Liberia economic hardship? And then later on, we'll come back and ask for solutions, remedies, and how best we can make the economy better for everybody to survive. Brother Amos, all right. The question goes to you. What do you think?
Yep.
What are some of the causes of the hardship, economic hardship in Liberia?
Yes, thank you, Brother Joseph. I believe that everybody have said it well, but I have certain things to say about the economic hardship in Liberia. Number one is we blame the government for everything. The government cannot do everything for its citizens.
There's a feedback.
Government can say that again. Somebody was saying something.
There's a feedback. I'm getting a feedback.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's from Amos because
so
he's in the car driving or what.
so the government cannot do everything for its citizens. The citizens have to provide their own knowledge and idea. And the economic hardship is upon Liberia and the rest of the other African country because we, as an African nation or as a Liberia as a whole, are not following along the the economic development of other countries. And also our leaders feeling us so bad. The leaders are the one who misleading us. And if we following one leader that is bad, at the end of the day, it's gonna be a bad time. I understand that people don't like or Josh Weir leadership style or whatever it is, but we're not gonna go to that. But we're talking about his leadership style was better off. It's a different topic for that. But the economic hardship come about because we as a citizen of that country depend on the government so much to the extent that we refuse to do stuff for ourselves. We refuse to create jobs for the little people or the people within our community. We refuse to create jobs for people of lower income. You know, I can live in a community where I'm making six figure in a government setting, but I can't create job. I take that same money and bring it abroad. Then at the end of the day, my people in the community is suffering. We need to understand that the government cannot do everything. We need to blame ourselves sometime too. We need to follow along. If this may set me right, more people have traveled all of Liberia than any other African country. But yet still we go back and we blame the government. The system that the country need to build on. Every country in this world have a system. Does Liberia have a system? Even if they do, are they following the system? Are they following the constitution that was built that the country was funded on? So we got to look at all these things. So we will blame ourselves as a citizen that we are the one filling our country. Because when we land, we have the education, we go back home, we follow the same thing here. We do the same thing in Liberia. I'm going back to Liberia to get what I can get to come out. But are we going there to educate the people, to change the people mindset? changing the people mindset and having a system is better. We talk about the
Okay.
Liberian Civil War. The Civil War have been done long time ago. We into 20 some more years of not being to Civil War, but yet still we blame the Civil War. The rehabilitation have already been done with. We need to step up as a country to move the country forward, or else we will still be in a 1940 Liberia. But are
Okay.
the people willing to move up to that standard?
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Brother Julius.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
we turn the question over to you.
So let me first of all start off by saying I listened to my brother who pushed the burden or the responsibility on the people, the citizens, instead of having to say, okay, what have we done as a government? All right, institution wise, you're not gonna succeed if you don't create the enabling environment. That's part of the reason why you were asked to govern. It's a good thing for individual investment to be that contributing portion of the development or the success of any country. There's no doubt the people must be a part of the process. But here is where we continue to fail. Institutions are not applying themselves. Governance is bad. And when those two factors play major role in the government, the economy goes down because you know what? We're not investing in we're not investing in the labor force. We are not creating new people to come and replace the retirees. Remember now, we don't even have people retiring in Liberia.
Mm-mm.
Matter of fact, some people work until they're probably at the very last day of their life and then they go. Unlike other Western countries where they prepare the workforce, we're not doing that. So when I hear you say, "Oh, we need to do it," you can't be making six figure and not creating job. No, that is because the environment have not been created to encourage people to come and invest. When you create an enabling environment, everyone see reason to run in that space. The reason why businesses will see reason to move to places like North Carolina, Iowa, is because the local government create that enabling environment. The police officers are paid and they are paid adequately to value their jobs. And when those people value their jobs and they are performing adequately, guess what happens? People feel safe. They want to migrate to that part of the country. Guess what? When the nurses are paid and they are made to feel appreciated, all right? Because human, we are incentive driven. When you appreciate one for their contribution, guess what happens? That person in return then value their work or their contribution and they want to even do more to excel. But when an individual take on his personal, investment, invest in the country where the rule of law is not recognized, it's literally just abandoned and ignored. What make you think other international investors will want to come to Liberia in the country when they have done their own research? The surveillance simply proved that the rule of law is not even in existence. Nobody's going to want to do that, my brother. So we cannot sit here and say, you know what, we need to do something with shifting blame. The reason why we are asking the government to do her part is because she's not doing the bare minimum, the minimum that is expected of them. Provide basic necessities for the people. When basic necessities are provided, when institutions are governed accordingly, when systems are put in place so that they are working, they are effective, then guess what? You see more reason for people to come in. People now want to be a part of the process because you know what? They see that the government will do her part.
And then people will start to turn away from the search for government jobs and start to look in the private sector, because now more people coming and investing. The idea of providing a small business loan, great idea. Somebody on here mentioned that, the idea of small business loan, giving people the opportunity to startup process. It's a good thing. But because we lack the system, you are not going to be able to control it. And this is where, again, the idea and the play of governance come into play. Because when the system is not in play, you have no way of regulating how the funds are used, because you have no way of being able to obtain or go back and retain whatever was put in place, or get back those funds that may have been invested. You don't have it. So what do? We end up as the losers. So to be honest with you, what we need to first of all start with is just the basic that is needed for every government. Institution, institution, institution. Govern, govern, govern. When you govern, you know what you're doing for the people. You're providing opportunity for more investors. Today, I can tell you this: any one of us on here, any one of you on this platform today, if you were asked to take your money, your hard earned money, to invest in Liberia, you would be a little bit concerned, because if someone stole from you and you took them to court and they have connection with one of the judge or the lawyers, this is one of the judges who's supposed to oversee the case, you and I know how that's going to end. We must make sure that we put things into perspective. And I think that is the biggest problem. And we are not really investing in the workforce. We're not valuing people's contribution. You go to work, you work a month, you don't get paid until 2 months later. Come on, man. How do you build an economy like that? I think that's one of the biggest, right? And that's part of the reason why I see every reason for every Liberian to take on the opportunity that we have. This is a God gift for us to say, Mr. Alexander Cummings, who understands the economy. He's like a doctor who sits there and just waiting for the patients to come so he can administer that treatment for you so that you can be cured. And I guess we're taking light of it, but let's use this, take this advantage, and see how we can give this man an opportunity to help us. We continue to take our kids to the mechanic when the doctor is right there, simply because the mechanic is our neighbor, and we're not valuing the doctor's contribution. I stop at that note. Thank you.
All right, thank you, brother Julius. So again, we're gonna go
Can I come in a
around one
little
more
bit?
time,
Can
but
I
let
come
me,
in, Joe?
yeah, I want to make a point quick. If you want to make, it, you want
Yeah,
to
I
keep
want to
it
make a
below one
point.
minute. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Just quick to rebuttal what he just said. So I understand that you said the government has to do their part. The system is not in place. We are not valuing our workplace. I understand that. Like you said, I understand that you saying all those things, but the government do have a key role to play, like I said before. But we as the citizens have to blame ourselves. We can't put everything on the government. Like I said again, the government have a key role to play within our governments within a country. The government is the one who set the constitution. But we as a citizen, we looking at our economy is crumbling every now and then. We sit there and watch the economy crumble, but we blame the government. That's what I'm saying now. We need to understand that we as a citizen have to set those systems in place. Those systems have to be put in place for us to understand. In order for our economy to work, the government cannot do everything by themselves. We need to set those systems in place. Okay?
All right.
Go
So
ahead, Joe.
let me come
Well,
in first
brother,
before, and
I
I
have
will
to
let
come in.
Julius
I have to
I will
come
let
in.
Julius
I have
respond to that.
I have to come
Uh,
in real quick.
Edwin, you say what?
Everything that Julia said, I concur. But in business, it's called risk assessment. Every time you talk to any Liberian person, when you talk about economy, they go by infrastructure, they go by natural resources and stuff. But we Liberian over here, we sound like American. There's a lot of company that would love to take that business to Liberia, but they don't want to put a building down on Ashman Street where everybody watching that. Right now, you go to Western Union on Ashman Street, you come outside, you looking around, you leave your laptop or something, you come out. There's no rule of law in any business, any business ethical purpose, I want to say the government exists and exists only for national defense, the rule of law. If you have a rule of law, then people can chip in. All that thing you're talking about, brother, this is all good kumbaya and whatever. But we're talking about actuality. Like in the real world, go and applicate this thing. You can't go into a disorganized area and based on risk assessment when it says all red and you take your money and invest it anyways. Nobody gonna do that. No sound business person gonna do that.
All right. So
So let me just.
so
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Julius. Go ahead.
I was just gonna quickly say to my brother, the people don't create the system. The government create the system. The people
Oh, I was about to say.
upkeep and follow what is done. So don't say that people can create this system. I'm sorry, my brother. You may have misspoken, and then I would take it that way. But there's nowhere in the word, unless I'm missing something. Again, I'm not as educated as a lot of you guys on here, but I want to believe that I don't think there's anywhere in the word where the people create the system. The people only abide, they subscribed to what is in in existence, all right, and they make it what it's supposed to be based on what have been implemented. The implementation of that system is what the people follow,
Yeah.
especially if it is guarded by the rules of law, like my brother just spoke of earlier. So there's no way that the people can create a system and then the government take it on. It doesn't work like that, sir.
All right. So okay, thank you, Julius.
Hmm.
I will get to the water a little bit time, but let's look at it in a sense, right? And Julius, what you said was brilliant, and everybody points here brilliant points. But when the founding fathers of Liberia at the time, when they started putting the constitution and an economic system together, they knew exactly what they were doing. Okay, so they created a system, and that system was based on how they can generate funds to develop the nation, and how can they generate funds to export, or what can we import that can also give us money to as well. Now let's look at the kind of a system, and Liberia have a system, and every system should be constructed by the government and implemented by the people, and then also enforced by the law. Okay, so I think if we have systems, if the systems are there and they're in place and they're not broken, then I think we can thrive. We can survive it. But now, I want to go back to United Nations Development UNDP in 2024. The assessment they made on Liberia again. So they rated Liberia. So Liberia's Human Development Index. We did discuss Liberia's scorecard sometimes on the show. I think it was last month or so. Okay, Liberia's Human Development Index ranks among the lowest globally in three main fields: health, education, and income. Health, education, and income. We all know here our healthcare system is down. Okay, it's not up to standard. Our education system is not even up to standard. All right. If we cannot develop our own people, if Liberian government cannot develop its citizen, do you expect the citizen to grow and develop in a way where they will have more of a stuff to bring development into this country? It's not going to happen. The government has a responsibility to put in systems and let the system benefit, let the Liberian people benefit from the system. Okay, I think that's why we're having our problems. So again, uh, the issue here is, I don't think it's just Liberian people. I think it's the systems in Liberia the Liberian government is having. Now, uh, before we go to the next step, uh, anybody have any refresher on the mind or something that just came to mind while others were speaking that you wanted to talk about? That the wallow.
Yeah, let me
Any,
yeah, let me let me let
okay.
me say. But by the way, Julia's brilliant articulation of the issue, beautiful, awesome job. And also my my brother, um,
Edwin Amos. Dr. Waller, you
I
muted.
think that the Waller froze for a second. He might have gotten a
Oh
call.
yeah, I'm sorry. I muted myself. My brother Edwin. Uh, Beautiful. Look, I want to mention what Edwin spoke about earlier concerning our education system, because most of the things that Julius spoke about that could really help, okay, attract investors into our country, but yet and still keep our economic stable and more functional, would actually help also when our citizenry are educated. I think it was President Salif that said that the education system was a mess. And ever since then, we have never had, any administration that have intentionally tried to
Mm,
reform our education system. So you see, Julius spoke about the workforce not being trained. We not investing in the workforce, right? So then the question becomes, if we want to build a 20th century version of our economy, what skills out there that people can
mhm,
utilize? If the workforce are not trained, you cannot you cannot you know solicit an output if you have not trained people, right? So our education system need to be reformed. We need to really invest in education. When you have an educated citizenry, you have people that are informed. It's not just informal education, but in technical skills, right? It will help to enlarge or broaden the economic spectrum. At least people have skills that they can do other things, right? So we have to take education very seriously. Now, the last point I'm going to make is this: in every government, you have system, you have the government functionalities, and you have the people. These are three important components in every government. You can have a good system. People can understand how the government's supposed to function. But if you don't have honest people to work that system, they're going to take advantage of the system. And that is part of what we see happening in Liberia. The honesty to serve the country is mostly not there. People take advantage of what they're supposed to do. You put drugs in a hospital, people take the drugs and put it into their private
clinics.
pharmacy or into a private clinic, right? What Look, if you don't have people that are honest to work the system, you will have a breakdown in the system. So we Liberians, we just need to be honest with ourselves and be very patriotic for our country. We need to love our country in so much as we love ourselves, and then we will be able to actually make the improvements that we're supposed to make. But there are so many things that are lacking for which we are where we are today. And Julius and my brother um,
Edwin.
Edwin spoke about that. But the complexities of the things we're supposed to do is just so enormous. But we need to focus on really developing our country and fixing our country.
Okay.
All right. The reason I really stress reformation on education issue, I've been doing it from day one since I've been. Cause I saw India did it. I think around 2018 or 19. They implemented our system where they have 3 days of scheduling school. All the people go overnight, other people go in the middle of the night, people go in the morning. Within 3 years, India created 300 millionaires. 2024, there was a massive exodus of Indian people leaving for here because they can work from over there. The company that I work for, they write a contract with the Indians. They're all back home. They're enjoying their country just because of reformation of education. As far as the honesty that the water, humans are humans, but you have to create system that can force people to be honest. In the country that we're in, you think these people they're that perfect? There's a reason why your rent is paid or your mortgage is paid by money order or check. Because they don't want you to see the cash. Because any human being that have access to that tempting cash, they may opt for something else. So you got to create a system and make it very harder for people to touch cash. That's where the system comes in, so you can teach people to be honest. And
Well,
another thing, I
okay.
can't, I can't, I can't help but wonder, Brown, when every time you guys talk about the founding fathers of Liberia, funding, who is it? Is it Charles D.B. King that has the record for stealing election? Who is the founding father of Liberia? Is it Tubman that signed the 99 years, 99 cents per acre? Up to today's date, rubber can grow anywhere in Liberia, but nobody can grow any rubber trees for you to compete with Firestone. Who are the
No,
funny fathers of Liberia? You tell me
so
today. I
so
read this
Edwin,
one.
when
So
I
Edwin,
speak to that point, I did not mean the Liberian president. I spoke on the point where the started planning the country to move forward after 1822, when the free slaves on the Liberia and decided to plan the country
But,
and make it a
but my
democratic
question
state. I'm
specifically
coming.
is who are
I'm
the
coming.
funny fathers that we
I'm
supposed
coming.
to
I'm
talk to?
coming.
Is it
So those
is it
guys,
King Rao that created Lynch
those
Street
guys,
for
those
lynching
guys that
people?
sat.
It's called Lynch Street. That street needs to be changed.
I understand. But those guys who sat there and reviewed the Constitution, the national anthem, the flag, and put in place, put in mechanism that structure Monrovia or structure Liberia as an independent state, um, with all its education, agriculture, electricity, and everything and so forth. Now, those founding fathers meant well, and I can tell you this: I think that there are plans of Liberia. Liberia have a draft. Liberia have a plan, which the founding fathers want the country to go, and I think the government or the leadership are not trying to use that plan to develop on it, and that's why we always say government is a continuity of of its kind. Now let's look at it this way. Now, Liberia major form of income. It comes directly from exports. Okay, it comes directly heavily from our natural resources. Okay, what else can we point to? Nothing else can we point to directly that brings money into the country. We have no industrialization in our country where we export greatly to another country or African countries or European countries. All right, we don't have an industrialization in our country, so we depend heavily on exporting our natural resources: the gold, the rubber, the timbers, the iron ore, the diamonds. So that's how Liberia gets her income. Okay, and also with the free port of Monrovia. So the access point where we look at as a national security issue. Those main points: the seaport, the airport, the borders, and everything like that. These are areas Liberia generates funds from. But now, let's talk. We just discussing, and you just said the reformation that India's carried on sometimes in the past years. Liberia, if you look at our education system, you can tell our education system is down, is messed up. Maybe it's done purposely to keep the young people uneducated so that those people in power can still keep riding on the horse until whenever it is. But now they are not seeking the interest of Liberia. That's why we need somebody that to come in and put this structure back to work. Okay, education. We Liberia needs education system. It needs to be reformed. Okay, you can have our LU students, the highest institution in Liberia, the highest university of Liberia. You can have those guys don't even some of them even know how to read and write. Okay, that's a disgrace. Look at the building. It's not even. It doesn't look like a building for somebody to sit in to learn. You telling me the government is looking at that building, knowing fully well that education is very important, and yet and still they're not taking it seriously. All right. Look at the airport. Look at our road network. How can we complain of economy, or we say we don't have the economy to provide or to provide food for ourselves? When we have the rural areas, where we have people cultivating banana, pepper, rice, but we don't have a road network to make sure these products are taken and carried on time at a specific location. We don't have the road network. So that's another setback again. All right. But I personally think the government has responsibility. If the government can connect every county and every major city, right, from one point to another point, I can bet you will see the economy will boom a little bit because there are a lot of people who do subsistence farming in the rural areas. They can't get the produce out to the market on time because of the bad roads, transportation, electricity. Look, I think we need a government that will come in. We need people that will come in that will restructure the system and say, look, this system must work. It has to work for the Liberian people. We can keep the Liberian economy down forever and keep falling back on 1990 war. It doesn't make sense to me. Again, so we now let's go to the point where
If you
let
will
us
allow me to, please, Mr.
go ahead.
Moderator, let me
Go
just
ahead.
throw in a few words here. You mentioned a couple of things that I want to truly highlight. You mentioned um, the desire for reformation, transformation. Okay, those are words that are used that have been literally deleted from the political dictionaries in Liberia. And that's part of the reason why
Yep.
most politicians, as I refer to them, not in a demeaning manner or disrespectful, but they are referred to as politicians because a politician is one who envision and apply innovative method to transform lives and leave behind legacy. In Liberia, those who pretend to be politicians go in there to empower themselves, enrich themselves at the detriment of the masses.
Yep.
They don't identify key areas that they will go and apply their true understanding as to what the solution is to Liberia's problem. And that's part of the reason why I say to most Liberians, I would say to all of you here, if you have nobody that you ever thought of to support as a presidential candidate, maybe think about Mr. Alexander Cummings. Just think about it. Think about it just once. Why should that be considered? Because here's an individual who have consistently preached the same message that I dare consistently say to you. We cannot move Liberia forward without an empowered economy. When the economy is empowered, when the young people are provided job opportunity, guess what happens? They are investing in Liberia. And then before you make up your mind, things start to just blow them out. And then everyone is comfortable because they feel now to have been included in the process. But everything we're saying here today, these are ideals. But until you have that person with that political will who would say, regardless of whether you elect me or not, I will tell you the truth. Regardless of whether you support me or not, I will do what I need to do to make Liberia better. We're not going to move anywhere. And that's part of the reason why I take us back to the initial topic that was discussed. Why was it important that Mr. Alexander Cummings appear in Zweju? That helps to build the substance of our discourse and to honestly be sincere in everything else. We must be firm. Elect, elect the right people to truly represent you, not their pockets. And that's what we're dealing with today. We elect people who represent their pockets and not people who represent the interests of the country. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, let me say something here real quick before we continue. I think the next topic where we're supposed to be discussing the fees at the Port Authority, uh, we will put that discussion up for us next Sunday because I don't think we're gonna have enough time to discuss it. So, and I will put some more articles in the group chat so we can come and discuss, the fees at the National Port Authority, and also discuss the contract that the APM terminal signed with the Liberian government. I think it's worth discussing, so we can discuss that. So today we'll just spend our time on economic hardship, and then we'll try to find solutions, and we can make suggestions and recommendations to the Liberian people. And again, I think that's why I wanted to say first before anybody want to come in. Um,
Yeah, I was going to say that the complete mirror and a direct correlation to your education system is the fact that Alexander Comey is in the 1 percentile of your voting system. That's a mirror right there. That tells you how the country is going. Exactly. That's your education system right there. If you're looking for any skills to weigh your education against, look at it. He's not even 20%, not 10%, not 25%. That's a direct skill. That's a direct correlation of where your education system is. Again, when we were growing up, we had a lot of smart people. It was in the middle, 50-50 or 45-55 or whatever. It wasn't that bad like this. You
no,
have
but
somebody that has the formula.
yeah,
You have
but
somebody that
Edwin,
has the
we
for
have we
some
have
reason,
system.
I don't know why.
But Edwin, then we have system in place. We have system in place. We have competition going on. At that time, you and I were in elementary and high school with Dr. Water and everybody here. We have competition going on. Okay, our environment was safe. We have, we didn't have to worry about leaving something outside. You know, it was safe when you left it out. But again, this time around, it's so terrible to the fact that they believe that the generation under the Civil War has not gained much education to 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 stand up like those people prior to the 1990 war. Again, I think this is done on purpose. To be honest with you, the government is not trying to fund the Ministry of Education. They're not trying to fund the healthcare system, and I think it's done on purpose to keep the masses. Uh,
All the school I was left, all the top school I was left, they regress, they didn't progress. Like
that's what I'm
they
saying.
went to a point, they went to the point that people buying grades, they
That's what
make
I'm
it
saying.
easier for you to
Because
know.
it went bad.
They not make
Because
class
because
stuff like
back
that. They
then,
regress.
those teachers were getting paid. They were being paid on time. Our parents were involved. They were attending PTA meetings. Our parents were always checking our report cards. Our parents are making sure our homeworks are done. Okay, before the next day. So again, you have a different set of system now in Liberia that people just. I mean, if you hear a college student speaking Liberia, it bothers you. But again, so let's go to the next topic here. Now, before we come onto the solution, right, gentlemen, let's identify two things each, right? Two main factors, two main things that you can think about in economy that your suggestion, if you identify, can you give a suggestion and a recommendation how things can move forward? uh you know, just anything you think of. All right, so
Well, right now,
Coming quick.
immediately, yeah. Oh, go ahead, brother. You
go
know,
ahead, Emma.
everybody talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just wanted to say something about the Liberian educational system. I know we talk about the system being broken, the system being broken, the system being broken, and I'm coming back to the same old thing again. We should blame ourselves as Liberian and the government as a whole. The government have a system in place for our educational system to work. But we as a Liberian citizen, what are we doing? We are using the educational system, such as like the other guy said. We go over there to buy this teacher to get a grade. Do a lot of crazy stuff in our country to get a grace. Back in the 70s, 80s, it's a different situation. At the time, we believed the country was normal, everything was good. People was having good time with the education system. But we have changed. We have shifted now to a different system of education. But we, as the Liberian people and the government as a whole, what are we doing to implement those things? For example, China built an educational system that you have to go to educate, you have to go to school, you have to graduate high school. Same thing here in the United States. No child left behind system. There's a system here, no matter where you are. As long as you reach that age of 18, 19 years old, you have to be out of high school. Those are things that the people of other countries did. Are we doing the same thing? No, we have people 30, 40 years old still in high school. But we blame the educational system for not being good. We need to understand everybody in our country will not help develop that country, will not build the economic system, will not build the healthcare system unless we as a Liberian people come up and say enough is enough. We need to do better. We need to come up with a system. We all goes to Ghana, we all goes to Ivory Coast, we all go to Guinea. We see how those people educational system, road network, everything booming.
Bro Amos,
Are
can I
we
ask you a
bringing
quick
the
question?
same thing back
But
here?
Amos, that the water
Bro
got a
Amos, can I
question
ask
for
Go
you a
you.
ahead.
quick question? Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding the point that you are consistently grabbing. So are you saying that we should blame ourselves for not holding our government responsible for not developing a system, or we should blame ourselves for us not developing that system? And then while you are answering that, can you
Mhm.
can you also can you also indicate the two systems, the two countries that you mentioned, the U.S. and China, the system you mentioned, who built it?
It's the government. So what I'm saying is, we should look at ourselves. The government built those systems, and the citizen implement those systems, right? Now we talk about Liberia educational being broken. The government have an educational system that has already been built from long time ago. But what are we doing as the Liberian people? Are we trying? Are we heading that direction to implement those educational systems? That's what I'm saying. We should not sit there all the time and blame the government for every little thing that we, the Liberian people, can do by ourselves.
Okay, so
Blaming
let
the
me.
government, blaming the government for everything is not the solution to our problem. The solution
So
to
what?
our problem is ourselves.
So what can we do?
Can I
What can
jump?
we do by ourselves?
Can I come in real quick here when
All right, Julius.
after
Julius, go
Emma
ahead.
answer the question?
Go ahead,
Okay,
Julius.
so Emma, let me say this right. A written document is not classified as a system. That is a guideline, a written document. What we have
So you mean the
currently,
Constitution is not a written document?
I'm not saying that. No, no, no. I said
So
a
then what are you
written.
saying?
I said a written document is not a system. A system is what is applied, what is constituted. An example of a system. Let me give you, and I'll try to kind of go down a little bit with this, right? A system would be the red lights. When you see the red light, instantaneously you know to stop. Because if you don't stop, you are thinking there may be a police around who may pull you over. And when you pull over, you get a citation. And when you get a citation, you go to court. And if you don't go to court, then they either suspend your license. And if you don't pay to make sure that your license is reinstated, it gets revoked. And then when your license is revoked, you drive, you cut driving, you go to court. You see the system here? Do you now see the system? Now, if that is not applied, okay, what you have is a document that is in existence because it's not impacting the society. That's what we are simply trying to say. What we need to do now is make sure that the institutions in place make sure that these written documents are applied to the fullest. But unfortunately, you cannot do that when people who are expected to do these little things are ignoring their responsibility. An example will be here we have it, your lawbreakers. You call them lawmakers, I call them lawbreakers. Okay. What they did recently, they ignored the Supreme Court's ruling. How in the world can those who supposed to uphold the law purposely break the law because of political gains? And then you expect the man at the traffic light to regard the light? That ain't gonna if you see a police officer and you know he's a police officer in his private vehicle running the red light and he's your neighbor, the next time you see the red light, you're gonna want to run a red light because your police officer is doing the same thing. All we are simply saying to you here is the institution, the government, must be able to make sure that those written documents are not only written on paper, but they are applied and they apply to the fullest. So that way, those of us who are supposed to follow will then follow suit instead of saying, oh, we need to do this. You blame. The reason why a child, a young boy, will be brave enough to go and stand in front of an instructor and ask him or her to buy grades is because the system is fraudulent. It's fraud. I dare you. Ask any of your children if you have any kids. Ask them to go ask the teacher here to sell them grade for sunset. You know what they'll tell you? You know what it is. Whether you have camera there or not, the teacher know that possibly could cost them the job. That could possibly cost them jail time. That could possibly cost them the license. And all of this is the system is working. And who institute the system? The government.
Government.
So we're not blaming the government as though it's an individual. We are blaming the government as an institution. Hopefully, you kind of you get what I'm going with this. I
Okay.
stop at that note.
So
And that's a beautiful explanation, Lofa. So the way I was understanding Brother Amos is that uh just to just stick with your analogy about the red light.
Hmm.
Although uh there's red light, there's no police officer, there is
Hmm.
no government to regulate that, but yet the citizens are still responsible to follow the law.
Hmm.
Okay, that's what I was understanding him. That's how I was understanding Brother Amos to be saying that even though government, if government breaks down, the citizen themselves shouldn't break down. To me, it's like saying to a child, even though your parents are not,
Here,
living up to their responsibility, but you as a child, you should live up to your responsibility, and which is very unfortunate for us to,
yeah,
think that way because children are trained by parents,
yes,
and when they go wrong, parents have the responsibility to
chastise,
imply,
yes,
consequences so those actions cannot be repeated. That is how the government is like for citizens. When laws are violated, the consequences discourage the continued behavior of that violation. But when you have the government itself violating those very rules or not implementing, what they're supposed to implement, then that's where the breakdown of the system comes in. So
okay.
yes, we have to keep the government fit to the fire for them to be responsible for the reason we institute them as an institution. That's what they're supposed to do, and that's what we are speaking to. We are not blaming an individual. Alofa said we are talking about the implementation of the system, the way the system is supposed to function. The government
Okay.
is responsible for that, not
All right,
for the
gentlemen. I
citizen.
think we have spent enough time. So again, we're gonna go back to the two questions. We're gonna identify two things about library economy and what can work better. What will be a suggestion to make it work better? Identify two things, and then you can make a
Yeah,
recommendation. It depends on how you want to go about doing it. That's fine, but just identify two things that you think is broken and how can it be fixed, and who do you think can fix those things. Brother Eddie, want to go first?
yeah. I just also want to say whatever Brother Amos, I love the insight and stuff he said has never worked anywhere. Where you got people just breaking laws, anything goes, then the citizen just come and say, let's go waste our money. We need to save our country. It never worked in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone. There's no example of what you are saying. It's not you don't you have a government that's not behaving well, but the citizens say, let's go and waste our money anyways. They disgruntled area. They're pimping riders. pimping riders. The loudspeaker noise in the street of Monterey. Say, oh, let me just go build my house right by how you call it, point four. No, it has never worked anywhere. But anyways, I'm just gonna like chime in for as far as solutions for broadcasting purposes because people are listening. But I don't think the government that we have currently is even trying to act or enact solutions for to solve Liberian poor problems. So it's gonna be a waste of breath. But if I were in this government right now, I will instantly redirect all my energies to the Liberian, the armed forces of Liberia and the national police and pay them well and establish rule of law in the streets. Close out some departments, establish rule of law. I don't know if most of you guys are aware, but Liberia has a dual legal system. Guess what system is functional amidst all of these chaos? The traditional system still function well, where the chief then judge cases and stuff. It still function well. Is the so-called educated smart people that want to let it be smart in the play, let us speak simple English. For some reason, cannot organize a coherent legal system that would be beneficial for the people. Like you cannot go to Western Union and it tells you the money is finished. They can't even give you a good explanation of why. And Minister of Lands and Mines, one person is overselling the same land. How does that happen? Who's issuing the documents? So, but if I want to offer a solution, that's the very first thing I'm going to go to law and order. I'm going to eliminate some unnecessary departments in the government right now and redirect all our money to LMP and the AFL. Treat LMP to behave civically. That heavy guy that was fucking that girl.
Yo, this dude got some. He said that heavy guy I was flogging.
No, there was a video out there. We
I saw
want
that video, bro. I did.
we want civilized police people. All three police people have patience, like lose it quick. That's
All
my
right.
solution.
All right, Edwin. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
see,
appreciate
let
that.
me,
Let's go
let
to
me.
Brother Amos.
No,
Brother
hold
Amos.
on. Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Yeah, that one will come to
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Let's go to Brother
Yeah,
Amos. What two things can you identify in the government or in the economy, and
yes.
what will be a solution?
I will give a bonus, but I will say three things. In the meantime, it's not. I'll explain it. But one is to change the mind of the people, and two
Okay.
will be a trade job. The government or the private sector should be able to create job so that people in our country, especially Liberia, should be able to do trade job, not just depending on those high tech job or going to school to be a economic or work or how you call some people talking about accounting and a lot of stuff. They need to put that thing aside. It's a good thing, but you don't need so many accountants in our country. You need trade jobs. You need people to do those various trade jobs in order to create a better job for the people in Liberia. And number two would be to create a private job, private sector. We don't have too many private sector jobs in our country. In the sense that if I'm as an individual, I'm an investor, right? Like somebody said, if I go to Ronald Street and see and carry my business there, they're gonna rob it. That's when the government come to play. And this is what we talk about creating security for the people. So now, if I'm an investor, I have $1 million to go invest in Liberia, private setting job. Now, my goal is to know that all right, I want to see where I can go ahead and provide those jobs and how many employee I can hire at that point. But what happened is that when the investor goes back to Liberia, what happened is our own government or employee, our own people that work with the port authority, whatever it is, they corrupt the people and they make these people go away because why they want to have their own share of that man money first before they even talk about investing in the country. So my take is that you have to provide a private sector job with when these people come to the country, give them a tax break. Sorry, when you hire my own people, this is what I will give you. This is what I expect from you, you know? And then creating trade job for our people would be beautiful,
Okay.
you know? So
Thank you.
that's my toothpick.
Thank you. So let me go to Julia's here, and then Dr. Waller will come to you, and then I will state my 2 points too, and then we will just go through our closing statement. Brother Julius, um, what are some of the things you can identify, and what would be your solution?
So, I think I like everybody's suggestion. But my main focus here, when we talk about the economy, we are talking about empowerment. Correct me if I'm wrong on this part. So I think two key areas that I think a government should focus on, and those are areas that Mr. Alexander Cummings have made a part of his, pillow to make sure that it is implemented. One is the limited finances, okay? Limited finances for small businesses. You can't create jobs when the small businesses are not opportune to have access to finances. It's only the big boys
Yep.
who have access to the banks. They go and get the money and then and pretend as though they're creating jobs because they have access to the bank. They have all of the connection. The money is not, filtering to the bottom of the food chain. So access, easy access. Again, let me emphasize easy access to finance for the people like myself who nobody know that nobody them like Lofa Julius and other people, right? Make sure that access to finance for small businesses is available. When you start to do that, guess what? When a Lofa Julius who nobody knows creates a low job, he can hire one or two person to work at the shop. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Those two people will now have income to feed
To
their
feed their
family.
families. Yep.
You're boosting the economy in so many ways. But when you only give the money to the top tier, less than 1%, those people still have to go and fetch jobs. They have to fend for themselves. That is something that have consistently been in the tunnel. And that's part of the reason why we have not progressed. The economy is not booming because we are selfishly keeping the money to ourselves. And because of that, we're not going to move forward. The next thing is weak education and the workforce skills. Think couple you mentioned this, right? And that's why I took note of it, and I wanted to highlight that just to reinforce the message of the education system and the workforce. The reason why in these great United States they invest in early childhood education, it's not because they got money to waste, because that is the foundation.
Human
You
development.
build the kids from the bottom to the top. When you have a solid foundation, you work your way up
Yep.
eventually, and then you become that person that you want to be because you have a solid foundation from the home, the schools, the community, the society, and then you move your way up. Unfortunately, for us in Liberia, we have a broken foundation of early childhood education. We need to invest in early childhood education and then invest in workforce development. Workforce development starts from high schools and universities, where you start to invite young people, empower them to see reason to value themselves and invest in the career, where a young man can come up and say, I don't have to be. Today, vast majority of the young people are they're literally pursuing political science. I know my brother mentioned accounting. They don't want to do accounting. I'm telling you, my brother, they're not looking at accounting. You know what they're looking at? Political science. Everybody want to be a politician. The reason why they want to be politicians because they feel it's the easiest way out
Yep.
to riches. They get wealth early. The fastest way to obtain wealth is through politics. So everyone, they're all gravitating in that direction. What we can do is to change it, okay, cut down on the quest for government job, political appointments or appointees, and then look in the private sector or even employment in government that is not needed based on political alignment or affiliation. And when we start to do those things, empower young people to be self-sufficient, I think our economy will start to grow. I am not an economist, and I'm only speaking to these things just based on my observation and just readings from other countries around. So I just thought to state this disclaimer. I'm not an economist, but I'm making this contribution based on what I read and just based on what I study from other countries around around the world. So I think those are two things that honestly
Okay.
will help us be successful. I stop at
All right.
that.
Thank you. Dr. Waller.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Beautiful suggestions, by the way, beautiful. Um, and two of the things I was going to recommend, Edwin spoke of one, and Lofa also spoke of one, but I just wanted to piggyback on what Edwin said. It just got me, it just got me thinking. When Edwin said that the two different legal system we have in our country, how the traditional system is still working, and then the so-called educated system of the legal affairs of our country is not. I was just thinking that the Supreme Court, right? The Supreme Court. We have the Supreme God, and we have the Supreme Court, the highest decision making when it comes to the laws, the organic law of our country. The Supreme Court in our country gave a ruling, and then a president or group of lawmakers say, well,
Disregard
we
it.
don't agree with that, right? I mean, Edwin, when you spoke of that, I was just thinking that, look, people in the interior will never do that to their Panama chief.
No way.
No.
They will never do that
No
to their
way.
town chiefs. But a system we got an educated system. A Supreme Court gave a ruling, and we said no, we disagree with you. We're gonna do what we will still do. It just got me thinking about that. But I don't want to I don't want to repeat what everybody says. So I'm just going to see. I'm just going to mention one important thing that I think
Okay.
we need to really look at, um, in conjunction with everything else everybody says, most especially the rule of law and investment in people.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I would really recommend, that we really need to look at, that can be a driving force
Yep. To the
of,
economy.
of the Liberian economy, in conjunction with everything else that has been said, is agriculture.
Mm.
Our economy need to be it need to be centered around agriculture. We have the weather, we have the land, we have the soil, we have the population, the young people. Instead of us wasting time on uh, exporting drugs, we can make use of our soil, right? I'm talking about commercial farming. Use agriculture as a driving force for our economy. That alone going to create thousands of jobs, right? Thousands of jobs. That alone. Let invest in agriculture. Let put money in agriculture. Let get equipment. Let empower our farmers. Let make Liberian millionaires just by farming. And let put our young people to work. Take people from Morovia, carry them into the rural areas. Let invest into agriculture. That alone, if we champion agriculture, right, where we are able to feed ourselves and then export the excess outside of the country. See, I tell you the truth. Liberia economy will not just be vibrant, but it will be sustainable. Okay, because we have what we need for us to feed ourselves. We have it. We have the soil. We just need to put more investment in that. And when we champion that, we will be building a vibrant economy for ourselves, for our country. Okay, so for me, it would be agriculture. Okay,
Okay.
in conjunction with the rule of law and investment in people, it will be agriculture. Let's
Okay.
champion agriculture.
Thank you. Uh, I think all these points, beautiful points, and I think what I can throw in here is we need a functional institutions that would have some oversight, and also road network and stable electricity. Road network and stable electricity. We have all mentioned every important part that can make our economy grow tomorrow if these things are implemented. Um, we suggested agriculture, go back to the soil, access to credit for small businesses. We talk about educational reformation. We talk about electricity, functional institutions. All those things can help build the country. And I just hope, one of these days, these suggestions we are making here falls on fruitful ears that people would take this decision or our suggestion seriously and then implement those things. Again, gentlemen, thank you for the show. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. And I hope next Sunday we'll be able to discuss the APM terminal in Liberia, um, agreement with the Liberian government, and also the increase in tariff at the National Port Authority. So we will not leave until we do our closing statement. Since our brother Julius is uh, here for the very first time, we give him the closing of the program. So he'll be closing us. So after we do our closing statement, brother Julius will close everybody up. So
Okay.
I will go my closing statement, and then we'll follow by Edwin, Dr. Wallow, brother Amos, and then our brother Julius will close us. And again, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for you being here today. Whatever you do here, you might see it as little, but I think it's a very good thing that we are doing for the Liberian people. Look, education is very important, as we are stated. Agriculture is important, as we are stated. Liberia needs to feed itself. We need to stop depending heavily on export of our natural resources. We do not have leverage on those things when it comes to pricing. Um, it can easily be manipulated by those people who are involved in taking our resources. Again, we need a functioning government, we need a functioning institution, we need a government that care for the people, government for the people, by the people. And once, if we do have those people who have love for Liberia, and that person who wants to see Liberia develop, let us all hope and pray that one day that person will come. We pray for successful transitions at all times. And again, the institutions in Liberia are working. A democratic form of government is working for us. I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. Have a blessed and wonderful night. Brother Edwin.
All right, thank you guys. Brother Julius, I think you chimed me last show a little bit. Brother Amos, we want to welcome you guys over here. Sorry, Brother Amos, you ran into an ANC ambush today, but feel, feel free to opine. This is your story. Go ahead. Feel free to opine anything you think or whatever. How you call it? But it was a good show. Iron shopping iron. We need eloquent people to be on the internet that has no biases in the country, because it looks like all the situations of political talking like bro, they all have bias. They're leaning one way or something. We don't have a lot of middle people. I spoke to one of my friends this morning. He'll tell me, say, you guys need to promote your show, because people are waiting to hear people that speaking their mind, that have no alliance to any political party. Even though we over here, we think for sensibility purposes we want Cummings to be there because he's the master job creator that can come over there and change the country for once. But if you look at the country Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong does not have natural resources. Hong Kong only have a port. So economy can be created from thin air. Hong Kong is one of the most vibrant city in the world. And China were going to them for workforce and everything for a very long time. One of the most beautiful city in the world. And they don't have what we have. So again, for the umpteenth time, we need to put somebody like Cummings in charge of our economy. The man that have access to Fortune 500 company before. This is somebody that has done it. Is he going to be a politician making himself rich? Of course. Every politician, they make themselves rich. But want somebody that would negotiate $5 billion and then they give her $3 billion. But now negotiate $5 billion and they give her $2 million. We don't want that. We want a politician that will be there because you got to pay people for the expertise. So the man negotiate $7 billion deals. He implement $5 billion with roads and stuff and different things. We would think that. That's what we're doing here. When people get road contract in the suburb over here, they go to China and get it from there because they want it cheap and they keep the rest of the money. But we got the roads. The roads are clean, so nobody's gonna be complaining. We're not gonna be in uproar in the street. So yeah, but I'm just saying, guys, for 2029 purposes, I don't think anybody should put that trust in our political process. We want to. The country has moved forward. It's better than before, but I don't think you should put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to politics in Liberia because you're just setting yourself up for a heart attack because they're really going to let you down. The only way things can be changed, we're saying, if they can implement some type of rule of law order, then we have up north of 100,000 plus Liberian people here. Before, it was only the Congo people that had access to America. We have a lot of native people that have access to America. We can meet over here and put our two cents together and affect change in the country. I know Brother Amos will like that, but before that, we need to see a responsible government. We need to see a responsible government before we can even think about stuff like that. Thank you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys, Julius and Amos, for coming. We want you here every Sunday, guys. Thank you.
Dr. Waller.
Yeah, CEO, thanks for the moderation. Beautifully done. Thank you so much. Always for the opportunity to be here. My brother Amos, it was really, really nice having you. Julius as well. You guys brought a very vibrant taste to the show. I hope this shouldn't be your last time. Let's come always. Let's discuss Liberia. Let's discuss the issues. Um, and I think today's show was a good show. It was a good show, and I think if people listen, they're going to learn a lot from what we were able to discuss. Julius, when you're doing your closing, I'm kind of interested in knowing how you get a name of an entire county in Liberia. If you can just share with us, I would appreciate that. I'm wondering about that. The history behind that name. But yeah, I mean, it was a good show. It was a good show. So my closing, I went into, I know I had the time to respond to my brother Edwin when he said that Alexander Cummings and the other political leaders going to Zuedro, it was, it could be a result of them trying to form an alliance. That could be the case, that, or it may not. But whatever it is, I just appreciated the fact that we had our political leaders converging, to a place where they were able to celebrate the existence of a political institution for 22 years, right? If there is any other reason behind their conversion, but that alone in itself, it means that our democracy is getting mature, and we should be able to celebrate each other. Okay, we should be able to do that for each other. So Honorable Cummings going there to address seditions, it's good. For me personally, I wouldn't want the ANC to get in collaboration with with a former ruling party. I wouldn't want that. Okay, but I would rather have Mr. Cummings get in alliance or collaboration with the CDC than the Unity Party. Okay, because for me, President Weah, has proven, to be a man, of tolerance. Okay, we saw President Weah went as vast standard bearer to Council Winston
We
Tubman.
we should tell me, yeah.
Okay, and and then his contribution to our country and our democracy, we have to honor that. Even though he has his lapses, but he have done some very important things that needs to be to be honored. So for me, I would love to see that happening because it's Liberia. Okay, President Weah has the numbers. If Cummings can help him, to form a government that can deliver for the Liberian people, yes, I want to see that happening. But just seeing them together with the Musability, with former Associate Justice Cabinet Janet, and the rest of the political leaders, it was just awesome to see. And let's look forward to our political leaders getting along and collaborating and talking to each other, because that's politics. It doesn't have to be a bloodbath. Before, we used to kill presidents. Now we criticize, we talk the issue, we move on. We don't kill anymore. We don't do that anymore. And I think that's progress. Let's stay on that path. Let's talk our issues. Let's discuss the issue. Let's disagree and let criticize. But politics shouldn't be a bloodbath in Liberia. So thank you guys. Great conversation.
Thank you, brother Amos.
Yep. I just want to say thanks, Brother Joseph, and everyone else for this beautiful show. I've been following the show for some time now, and I'm I've been invited on the show, and it's an honor and a privilege to be on the show along with Dr. Wallow and everyone else. You know, and I know this is a great topic that we have talked about, but I just have one. I have a quote from my favorite U.S. President, John F. Kennedy. He said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." This is one of my favorite quotes, and I love it because every time I listen to this quote, it makes me feel like I have an obligation, I have a tax in order to go back to Liberia and help my people to create jobs, to make our economy better, you know. And if, as an individual, can go back to Liberia, even when I hire one or two people that will contribute to the economy of our country, is better. If I can create my own private certain job to give back to my Liberian people, that's better, you know. And that's why I keep stressing on that. We as a Liberian people should not rely solely on the government. We talk about the government being corrupt, the government being this, the government being that. We should not rely solely on the government. But when we get together as a people, as a unity, we will make that country a great country. And not just, you know, talking about better. I'm talking about when we get together, I know we can do it. We have done it before back in the 80s, and we can do it again. But the division comes about because we believe that we all have a different mindset of what the government should do for us. Now, what we as a country can do for the government. Because if we want our economy to boom, we cannot just depend on the government alone. We need to understand that those things, we need to understand that we have to create an atmosphere. Like for instance, creating a rally, getting people together, speak about the situation, and, and that will be better for our country. In so doing, before I close, I want to say that in order for us to be better again, we have to create a private setting job, we have to create a trade job, and we have to change our mindset. Thank you again for everyone.
Thank you, brother Amos. Brother Julius.
Let me start off in response to my brother Emma's statement. I know it's not fair, that we're giving closing, but I'm still responding to my brother Emma's. And the quote that was just stated, that is no way, shape, or form, okay, an escape route for leaders to abandon their responsibilities. Okay? That is no reason for any leader to abandon their responsibility. When you're hired to do a piece of job, you are hired to do it to the best of your ability.
Ability. Mhm.
Okay? Let it not be an excuse simply because the quote was made. That quote is a motivational and inspiring statement for all Liberians, I would say, and I will reference Liberian, to collaboratively work together to transform or move the country forward. But it is not an escape route for people in government who are getting paid to get a piece of job done to sit there and be lackadaisical about their job performance. No, that is not what that quote is actually stating. It is not that is not an insinuation of that. What I'm trying to say in closing here is this. I agree. We must hold ourselves accountable. And in order to do that, we also must look above ourselves, look beyond our nose, and see Liberia first and not individual, not self aggrandizement. We would not proceed beyond where we are today. It was a great show. I must be, I'm happy that I was a part of this. Hopefully, the door is open to me to be a part of the contribution as often as I can. I apologize. I was kind of fluctuating between here and there, but I had to jump off my meeting again. I was in a meeting with Mr. Alexander Cummings, but I'm not saying this to flaunt nothing, but just to say I will continue because that's what I do. Making a case for Mr. Alexander Cummings. We were in a meeting, but I had to leave to be here because I felt that this was very important. The meeting and other people, they could deal with that, but this meeting here where you are and the people of Liberia is far important than just having to sit and get feedback on certain things. So I'm glad that you are allow me to be a part of the conversation, and we're very tolerant of the fluctuation and the technical issues that I encounter in the process. But I think it was a great conversation. Liberia, we have a lot to benefit from people like yourselves, Dr. Wallow, my brother Edwin, brother Emma's, and of course the CEO himself. There's a lot. We have a whole lot, an abundant of people, resources. And this is what gets me so upset every time I hear Ghanaians, Nigerians, and other nationals just bragging about their success. I look back and I look in my community. I see bright minds, and we are behaving as though we cannot move Liberia forward. That is not true. We can move Liberia forward, and we
Yep.
will have to do it for the sake of our children and our grandchildren. And
Yep.
regardless of your political affiliation, I ask that we all be a part of the process. Don't let nobody lie to you. Talk about politics for politician. That's a lie. In your daily life, you're part participating in politics. Even in your home,
Yep.
you're part of politics. Your wife behave if your girlfriend or who your significant other they introduce politics in your day-to-day activity. In your offices, this is what we call office politics. Right? The reason why your coworker will act like he's better than you at a specific task, that's part of politics.
Yep.
It's because it should be able to motivate you to do more. So politics is part of us as human. Don't distance yourself from the process. Contribute regardless of how people see you. But it was a great show. I'm glad that you are allowing me to be a part of the discourse, and great to be on here. Hopefully I can convince Mr. Alexander Cummings one day to sit before the firing voices
Oh
of you
yeah,
guys so
sure.
you can question him. And but like I told you, Joseph, I'm gonna make sure that my brother Clarence Moneybot.
Yeah.
Clarence is gonna be on here. He's gonna join you
Okay.
guys. Just let me know the schedule
Okay.
and the
Sure.
availability. Hopefully on the Sunday. I will invite Climate Money by so you guys can kind of
Okay.
grill him a little bit and help produce just gain a little bit of audience. I think it's very
Got
important.
you.
But
Got
yeah,
you.
I
You
will
know,
do that.
by the
And
way,
yeah,
I was
Oh
also
yeah,
part of that
you
meeting.
have your
Wait,
you
yeah.
you're a part of that meeting too. Is that the
yes, sir.
Wallow?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to get out of there. Yeah,
yeah, me
All
too.
right.
Yeah.
good.
All right. Thank guys. I appreciate it, man.
But
Let's
you didn't tell us about your lo-fi. What's the
Oh
name
yeah.
uh
behind it?
By the way, let me say this right. So Lofa Julius had to come into play. The name Lofa came into play when I became a part of when I started engaging in Liberian politics. I hear people started, people thought they could taunt me or bully me on social media. Oh, the man won't be speaking to you every day. The man won't be speaking to you every day. The man I mean Liberian. Blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, you know what? I would tell you that not only am I a Liberian, but I believe in our culture and ethical value that it brings. And one of the most cultural counties they believe in so much is Lo-Fi County. Mom, dad from Lo-Fi County. Bone County, from Bone County all the way to Lo-Fi County, I have people in my family are tied into that. So I'm not just an ordinary guy who's just talking it. So I am going to tie myself to that county to prove to you that besides me being from Lo-Fi County, my root and my birthstone is in that country. You cannot distance me from anything that have to do with Liberia. If you think you can bully me based on my accent, you're lying to yourself. You can't do that. So that was the motivational factor behind the name Lofa Julius, and it just continued from there and went on. So now I just refuse to change it. I'm not going back to my government. I'm going to stick with the Lofa Julius because eventually, at some point in time, by the way, though, I would be the president of the Republic of Lofa County.
Well, we look forward to that, and we
good,
will
good
support you
job, good job. Look forward to
to
it,
be
man. We
Thank
that.
you.
support you now.
At least
We support you.
we
All
have
right,
to
gentlemen.
retire
Thanks.
your
Have a
president
wonderful